I've stumbled across a bizarre channel on YouTube called Mark101. It appears to be an alpha Minecraft channel, but, well, you'll see soon enough. The first video is entitled Unused Zero. It shows gameplay footage from the early days of Minecraft, specifically Alpha 1.0.7. The video follows the initial stages of a Minecraft world. We watch as a character with a dark skin punches sheep and picks up wool. They proceed to construct a crafting table, using it to craft a set of wooden tools. They chop some wood before climbing up the side of a mountain where they begin to construct a house. About 5.5 minutes into the video, they suddenly stop, pausing and unpausing the game several times. They stare out into the distance for a few seconds. Suddenly, a strange loud noise is heard as the render distance drops. The player goes haywire for a few moments before leaving the game. When we examine the description, we find that the player recording is apparently as confused as we are. "I'm getting freaked out. I'll show you more footage. What is that sound? I don't know, maybe a new cave sound. I think if I reinstall Minecraft, it will stop acting weird." Then there's a link to another video entitled Instructed. This is a screen recording. We see someone named Marcus logging onto their computer. They open up a web page with the title, "Please report any anomalies you see in Minecraft here." The site gives more detail about these anomalies. They are not usually Minecraft-esque at all, and the players are instructed not to approach them under any circumstances. The website also shows an example of an anomaly, but the image is very dark. We can adjust the colors to brighten the picture, but we still just can't quite see it. Below, there's the option to submit a video with the description of an anomaly. The user Marcus opens up a video called myanomaly.mp4 and begins to play it. It begins with a title, "They use my account again," followed by, "I found this recording randomly appear while I was making a new video." Marcus messes with the window size several times, making this video difficult for us to watch. Despite this, we can just make out footage of somebody breaking doors in a Minecraft cave. Marcus skips ahead to a segment with the player running up a staircase out of the mine. They turn around and Marcus pauses the video. He uses the mouse pointer to point at something down at the bottom of the stairs. This must be another anomaly, but what is it? If we look closely, we can just barely make out something hidden deep within the image. But is it just a trick of the light? A compression artifact? What exactly have we stumbled across here? The date on the computer screen tells us that Instructed takes place a month after Unused Zero. To see how we got to this point, we're going to take a step back in time and examine the other videos on the channel. There's a video called moonglitch.avi. This takes place in the same world. Marcus has made some progress since the first video, with a complete starter house as well as stone tools. He spends most of the video cooking pork chops and storing them in a chest. Near the end, Marcus exits the house into the night. He attempts to change his render distance, but it appears to be stuck at tiny. Then another strange noise. Marcus looks up at the moon to see that it has a bizarre red dot on it. The video ends after that. Another glitch, one that again defies explanation. It is here that the uploaded videos appear to be slightly out of order. To make things easier, I'll present things in what I believe to be chronological order, not necessarily the order of upload. The following video is entitled I'm Back. The state of the chests tell us that this video takes place soon after Moonglitch. Marcus takes some materials and crafts an iron sword, presumably to deal with the zombies that we hear in the background. Marcus exits the house and kills one of them. After changing the difficulty to peaceful, he descends the stairs out of his house. We once again hear a strange noise. It amplifies in volume before a couple-second-long gap in the footage. The video ends with the noise fading out as Marcus enters the mines. Apparently, Marcus's mining trip was successful. The next video is called Diamond Overload. It opens with a One True Media logo, which was a service that helped users create and edit videos. Marcus has used it to create this video, and he will continue to use it in future videos with titles. The description tells us that Marcus found a cave with tons of diamonds. To celebrate, Marcus has uploaded a video dancing in diamond gear to a song called Tarantula by Pendulum. And that's just about it. A dose of 2010 Minecraft fun. But this fun wouldn't last long. The next video is called Observations. Once again, we find ourselves in Marcus's world during the nighttime. Marcus stares out the window and briefly gets a glimpse of the moon. It is still dark. Apparently unsure of what to do, he checks periodically, seemingly afraid of looking at it. Finally, daytime approaches and the moon sets on the horizon. Yet there's another strange noise, causing Marcus to exit the world. It appears as though these oddities have begun to affect Marcus. The description contains a rambling blend of questions and answers. Where did it go? I don't know. Have any ideas where it went? No. Do you know what it even is? It's very angry. We already know that, because that's all I know about this thing. Why do you think it's on the moon? Because moon cycle goes into void after sun. What do you mean by that? You'll see. It's strange. Is Marcus talking to himself, or is there somebody else out there? The next video is called Unused 1. We know that it must take place sometime after July 23, 2010, as the version is Alpha 1.0.11. This was the 6th Secret Friday update, which included a wide range of new things, from slimes to bricks to books. The description confirms this by telling us that this file was last modified on August 2nd, a little over a week after the update. The video opens with the rudimentary title, "Guys, I'm really scared, something weird happened. Let's watch what happens next." This video is easily the most bizarre one we've seen so far. Marcus is understandably spooked. In the description, he says that he believes it's just a hacker trying to scare him. Once again, the moon is dark, a trend that we've seen in the past several videos. Marcus walks around and stumbles across a large structure near his house. There are a couple of different sounds. There's a high-pitched sound as Marcus approaches the structure, and a lower-pitched, glitchy, rumbling sound as the screen goes dark. We can use a special tool called a spectrogram to analyze these sounds. A spectrogram gives us a visual representation of the frequencies in sound. Higher up on the chart represents higher frequencies, or a higher pitch. Lower on the chart corresponds to lower frequencies and pitches. The brightness represents the volume of the associated frequency. Moving left and right on the chart moves forward and backwards in time. The first high-pitched noise has a distinct look on the spectrogram. There appear to be bursts of short and long lengths. As it turns out, this is Morse code. By converting pulses to dots and dashes, we can read out a message, denied. We can look at the rest of the glitchy sounds in the spectrogram, but nothing jumps out to us. Regardless, this is a clear escalation in the level of strangeness that Marcus has been experiencing in his world. It's time for an investigation. Marcus joins the world and looks into one of his chests. That's an interesting design. It appears to be in the shape of a star. Why would Marcus store his diamonds and stone slabs in such an atypical configuration? Marcus peeks out of the house to discover that the moon is still weird. He returns to cooking pork chops. About 3 minutes into the video, the pause screen pops up several times, perhaps a glitch of some kind. Marcus once again descends into the mines, and we see that he has added a wall on the right side. At the bottom, Marcus notices a corridor in the wall and walks in to examine it. He stumbles across a bizarre reddish obsidian block at the bedrock layer. Marcus pulls out his diamond pickaxe and mines it. It breaks and he falls through. The video's second world continues immediately afterward and shows Marcus falling into the void. He rapidly takes damage and dies. When Marcus returns to the menu, we notice that the Minecraft logo is different. Upon joining the world, we see that the textures are totally messed up, red and glitchy. Bizarre sounds are heard. Marcus looks at the moon, which now has tentacles flowing from it. A loud sound plays, and the video ends. At this point, Marcus's world has been totally turned upside down. His investigation continues in a video entitled The Investigation Part 1. In the beginning, Marcus explains what he believes is happening in a few slides. Something is in the abyss. It took the moon. I can't do anything. I can only prioritize the Minecraft window. It's hard for me to even type because it keeps sending me to Minecraft. Marcus then posts a dark image, claiming that he doesn't remember making it. Adjusting the colors shows what may be a figure in the distance. Again, it's just not conclusive. However, there's a second image which Marcus claims is a mother giving birth to her children. It's a shot down a corridor in a cave. After color adjustments, we can see that there's clearly something there, but we can't quite tell what. It's a figure of some type, but it doesn't quite appear to have the shape of a player. The head is vaguely triangular and it has a skinny body. Finally, Marcus shows us some footage from his investigation. It's a sequence of 5 different scenes. The first is a brief excerpt from the previous video, the box outside of the house. The second is a daytime shot that shows the darkened sun. The third shows Marcus crafting his diamond tools. The fourth is longer and has Marcus building walls on his staircase to the mines. As night approaches, Marcus increases his speed before descending once more. The central room contains a large blob of that same reddish obsidian material that Marcus mined when he fell into the void. The final sequence of footage shows Marcus ascending the stairs before returning back down and failing to place a slab for several seconds. When he gets to the bottom, he notices that the room is different. Tunnels have appeared in the walls. These tunnels look familiar. The second picture of an anomaly was taken here. Marcus's investigation continues in part 2. He says that those things have been creeping in from the underworld. As Marcus walks around, the frame rate begins to drop. Then suddenly, Marcus gets his first clear footage of an anomaly. Out in the distance, we see a darkened figure with spindly limbs. Marcus understandably freaks out. If we look at this figure in more detail, we can see that it could plausibly be the shadowy figure in the mines from earlier. The basic shape is the same. Marcus is not wrong when he says that that's not from Minecraft. Then Marcus tells us another interesting development. Apparently, some guy with a star for his name joins his game sometimes. Marcus, Marcus, follow, look, Marcus. Earlier on in the video, Marcus showed us a rudimentary Microsoft Paint drawing describing what he thinks is occurring. Let's examine this for a minute. The top green line appears to represent the Minecraft world. The boxes probably show the bedrock structure that has appeared. Below it, we see a depiction of the moon. Marcus draws a connection between the thing and the moon. Then there's a picture of a star saying Marcus. This is probably the star player who's been joining his world sometimes. Beside him are several blue clouds with the text, "Not from Minecraft." It appears as though Marcus believes that his game has been infiltrated by beings from another place. There have been a multitude of anomalous events, from the moon to the star player to the reddish textures to the black void beings. A mysterious player has been communicating with him. But despite all of this, Marcus's explanation seems a little over the top. The idea of entities from outside of the game somehow entering it is absurd, right? For some reason, there is no investigation part 3, but there is a part 4. As soon as we start watching it, we recognize it as the My Anomaly video from Instructed. Now we have it in higher quality and we can analyze it in more detail. It opens with the same declaration that this was a recording found on his device. We see that the star player has said Marcus multiple times in chat, and since we know that Marcus didn't record the video, it's plausible to guess that we are currently seeing the actions of Star. The video takes place in the bottom mine room with the red obsidian. There are several half-door slabs surrounding the area, and we watch Star break them. They dump their items in order to fill their inventory with iron doors. Then they place these doors on the tunnels that appeared earlier. Finally, they head towards a lonely door with a pressure plate on the opposite side. It's there that the footage cuts. Immediately after discovering the video on his computer, Marcus logs onto his game and checks his world. Sure enough, his inventory has doors. It does appear as though Star used his account. Marcus descends into the mine to see the changes for himself and recover things from his inventory. There's a brief moment where the footage cuts. When it comes back, we see the particles of a dead mob as well as Marcus swinging his sword. It turns out that if we go to the frame just before the blackout, we can make out some strange spindly tentacles on the right side. After fighting a few slimes, Marcus approaches the singular door with the pressure plate. He contemplates for several moments and then enters. There are several more doors behind it, and the screen quickly darkens. Suddenly, a loud noise and a dramatic frame rate drop. Marcus flees the corridor. And then we see Marcus climb the stairs, and as we remember from Instructed, we know that Marcus is about to experience another anomaly. As Marcus turns around, we can see it, a darkened figure chasing him from the depths. Marcus quickly enters his house and places blocks to seal up the entrance. But it's not enough. A few seconds later, we can see that these blocks are being broken. Then the footage cuts, only to be replaced by a title showing a bunch of stars. This is it. This is the anomaly that caused Marcus to make a submission on the website. But there's a detail that we mustn't overlook. How could Marcus even know about this website? Well, consider that the video title is Instructed. It implies that Marcus isn't doing this of his own volition. Someone has instructed him to submit it. But who? The only reasonable character would be Star. We know that they have been communicating with Marcus, so it seems plausible that they're the ones who sent him to the website. If we look at the screen recording video in more detail, we can find a few frames that tell us what the website is. minecraftanomalies.neocities.org. After all these years, the site is still up. When we look at it, something jumps out to us. a list of REIJ ANUM codes. While they were partially visible and instructed, on the site we can see the entire list. It's a sequence of numbers separated by line breaks. The numbers themselves are easy to decode. By using the simple cipher of 1 equals A, 2 equals B, all the way up to 26 equals Z, we can rewrite the codes in plaintext. Yet this does little to quell the mystery. We are left with words that appear to have little relation to one another, from Safari to infrastructure to colorblind. Unfortunately, this appears to be a dead end. However, the website is not the only thing to find in the video of Marcus submitting his anomaly. About a minute in, there's a link that appears, and it connects to a Google Drive file called marksworld.rar. And all of a sudden, we have the ability to take a look at Mark's save file for ourselves. But before we do that, we should snoop around the archive to see if there's anything interesting hidden within. In the World 4 folder, we discover a file called marcus.txt. Hello. It appears you have been snooping around in Marcus's MC jar file. You want answers? They lie deeper than that. The void isn't the only thing here. The void is the most tame of all things. I'm glad we worked together to recreate Marcus's house. At that point, he'll be used to being down there. We'll be able to finally go back to reality. And Marcus, if you are reading this, I wish the best of luck for you and your little friend you tried to hide from me. Sincerely, the author. Using a tool such as MultiMC, we can easily load this world into an instance of Minecraft Alpha 1.0.11 and explore. It quickly becomes clear that this save file is from about the time when the anomaly video was submitted. However, as we search, we notice that there are several subtle differences, which tell us that this world is at least slightly newer than what we've seen. First, there are several iron door traps just outside the house. These will trap whoever or whatever steps on the pressure plate in the center. They're presumably designed to catch one of the void beings, or perhaps Star. We can take this opportunity to get a better look at the structure that has appeared. It's a giant hollow rectangular prism made of bedrock. On the top are several rows of blocks with torches on them. Most are also made of bedrock, although a few are made of dirt. A little ways away, there's a floating structure with pressure plates above an icy lake, an area that is yet to be seen in the videos. Things get more interesting when we go underground. In the mine, we can see that Marcus has sealed up the entrance to the pressure-plated iron door. Now that we have the save file, we can see what lies beyond. It's a hallway of 30 iron doors and pressure plates. Unfortunately, there's nothing at the end but a sealed lava pool. The other side is more interesting. We can finally enter one of the rows of iron doors. We find a dark cave with exposed bedrock. There are a couple of holes in the ground leading to the void beneath. On the opposite side of the cave is a cobblestone wall. Behind it, there's a really odd room. Glass has covered up the bedrock ground, and the walls are made of bricks. In the back of the room is a facade of a wooden house embedded into the wall. There's a chest that contains several items in a strange configuration. The purpose of this area is far from obvious. However, we do know that this room was created after the observations video. Bricks were not craftable until Alpha 1.0.11, meaning that this wouldn't have existed in version 7 videos. There's something else of note. Mark's world contains a cave system that is accessible from an entrance near the icy lake. Following this cave leads to a vertical drop to another room with bedrock exposed. There's a crafting table as well as a furnace. We have not seen this room before, and unfortunately, it will never make another appearance. It remains a mystery to this day. The final elements of note in Mark's world are a few new signs, one in the house and one on the ice lake. Both of these link to unlisted YouTube videos. The sign in the house connects to a video called Third World. We see Marcus descend into the mine and seal the iron door on the right side, telling us that this video is from before the world save. Next, he crafts a full set of diamond armor. Then he enters an iron door on the left side, which leads to the bedrock cave and the strange house that we just discovered. But we don't learn much about this place. Marcus walks around and then leaves. The second sign leads to a video called Outside the Skybox Lies the Ultimate Truth of the... It's a short little video showing the tentacled moon with the red dot. And then there's a public video called Unused 3. This one must have been recorded much later as it takes place in Minecraft Alpha 1.2.5, released on December 1st, 2010. But this video may not be Marcus. If it is, then it's recorded on a different world from the ones we've seen so far. Whoever it is, they head out into the night and see a void being out in the distance. Suddenly, they disappear. The player returns to their house to an increasing cacophony of sounds before seeing a void creature slide out of the wall. It's here that the story takes a turn. To this point, we've been seeing things from mostly Mark's perspective. An increasing number of anomalies are afflicting his world, and he responds with attempts to investigate and figure out what's going on. But all of that changes with the next video. In Demo 01, we are suddenly no longer with Marcus, and we enter the second phase of the Mark 101 story. The video opens with a bizarre message. The skybox is a shield. Then it drops us into a world totally unlike the one we've been seeing thus far. The textures are dramatically altered compared to normal Minecraft. The palette is mostly monochrome, save for the occasional purple highlight. Chests look different, as well as the UI. The toolbar has been replaced by a page and check and X icons. There's another major difference, the version. Up on the top left, we see that this is labeled Minecraft VoidExp version 0.0.1. Furthermore, the skin is different from Mark's skin. Suffice to say, we have found ourselves in a totally new place. But where? The video shows the character wandering through a location with many hallways. As we watch, we notice that there are several titles that say Void Error on them. There are also some blocks that appear to be covered by a bluish substance. Then there is a section of a wooden house, in stark contrast to the rest of the area. This too has a bluish tint. The person recording does not appear to be totally confident. They walk in a winding pattern, turning around frequently. At one point, they stop right up against the wall and move the camera as if they are seeing something. Then they open up a chest and pull out a page similar to the one in their inventory. They open it, and we can see that it's a book that has several variations of Mark 101, followed by Marcus several times. The player turns the page and signs the book, and we learn that this video is from Star's perspective. A curious development. Star returns the book to the chest and walks back to the initial room. They stand on the central tile, and the video fades away with yet another bluish tint. During the final few frames, we get a glimpse of Star's skin, the player who has appeared and talked to Marcus. If Marcus does not believe that Star is from this world, the video we just saw certainly adds credence to that idea. Star is not even in the same version of Minecraft, but what exactly is he doing? The following video is called Demo 02. It starts with another shrouded message. Shields may be durable. It appears to take place in the same location as the previous video. However, someone new is recording, as evidenced by the white skin. The video begins in the same central room as last time. As the player walks, we notice a few changes. First, a reddish substance is now present on some of the walls, replacing the blue version. This substance appears as though it may be related to the reddish obsidian that Marcus saw in his world. The player stumbles across a wall with a mysterious painting on it. It appears to show a night sky with a half moon in the center. On the four corners are several symbols: a star, an X, a clump of red dots, and a checkerboard texture barely visible. The player returns to the main hallway and opens the chest containing the book written by Star. They read it briefly before throwing it into an adjacent dark pit. Then they open the book in their inventory. It seems similar at first to Star's book, but there's an additional note. If you see any repeating patterns, report them, from somebody named Sai. The following page asks if there should be a report, and the player types Y for yes. When they go to sign the book, our suspicions are confirmed. This is indeed a different player than Star. Their name is X instead. Interestingly, we've seen both a star and an X on the painting from earlier. Is there some connection between these two players? X returns the book to the chest and walks to the central room once more. As they stand on the center tile, we get a shot of the head of their skin. It contains a single X. The next video is called Orders. It appears to be recorded by X again, and they start in the central room. They have another book in their inventory. It's a note written to them. Apparently, a malfunction is causing the void errors that we've seen on the walls, and this book contains instructions to remove them. X should go to the terminal room and type the command level.void.expunge. This will only work on the main terminal. It takes X a while to figure out where to go. During their searching, we see that this area is bigger than we initially realized. There's a seemingly endless supply of hallways and walls. Eventually, they locate the stairs and enter the terminal room, a cavernous place with a huge white dome on top. We see that X has the ability to fly. Are they perhaps an admin on this server? X finds the appropriate terminal, runs the command, and the video ends. If you are paying attention back in Demo 02, you may have noticed that one of the pages contained a sequence of letters and numbers. This is a YouTube link. If we type in youtube.com/watch?v=, we are led to an unlisted video. It's called Void Exp, the same name of the strange new Minecraft version. In this video, Marcus begins within his house, but soon exits and walks around outside. Then there's a loud noise and we see our third shadowy title. However, shields can be broken. Marcus finds himself in the Void Exp world. His confusion is evident. He explores but is unable to find his way out of the hallway. The next video posted on Mark's channel continues in Void Exp. X is there to greet Marcus. Unsurprisingly, X tells Marcus that he's not supposed to be here. Then he asks to follow him. When they reach a dark hallway, X reassures Marcus and they continue. Soon, they reach the outside. X tells Marcus that he's caused more trouble than he thinks. Then the video freezes. Suddenly, it returns with glitchy sound. We see that Star is standing up on a ledge as well as a void being. Something is clearly wrong. We discover that Sai is in the area. Sai says that they are here and is clearly upset. He asks why the devs didn't stay for this sky before commanding X to get them here. In the background, we see a second void being rising behind X. As X tells Marcus that this is not his matter, the being sneaks up behind him and the video cuts. There's a dark shot of a room full of void beings right before the end of the video. The title of this video was V= and then several numbers and letters, a connection to another YouTube video. But this one is not on the Mark 101 channel. Instead, it's on a channel called Sai. We just saw Sai in the previous video. Now we have a channel that gives some footage from their perspective. The video is entitled Investigating a Breach in Sky 4 Sector 1. This gives us a name for the tiled area that we've seen in the past few videos. This video appears to show the aftermath of the breach. Sai is with two new players called D1 and D2. Their skins as well as Sai's commentary tell us that they are developers. Sai says that another breach event has occurred, leading to the wall becoming partially cracked. They mention that, according to X, there were 5 entities present, including Mark 101, X, Star, Subjugate, and Integrity. We've seen the first 3 before, but this is the first we've heard of Subjugate and Integrity. The only things these could logically be are the Void Beings. They're the only other 2 entities that we see during the breach event. Sai finds a book written by Star and reads a few pages. So far our plan has been working well. The developer routines have been normal as well. I'll have to wait until the exact time a player with a weak world can come into this sector. Most likely it will be J-Star or Marcus. After that, if a developer tries to teleport them back to their world, we time the teleport exactly so that we can let others into his world. After that, we will spread out and begin our new life. This appears to be what happened during the breach event. Marcus was teleported into the Sky 4 sector because of a weak world, whatever that means. Then, when X tried to teleport Marcus back into his own world, Star came in and breached him. While we don't know for sure, the way it's written seems to imply that the Void Beings are associated with Star. He says that we will spread out and begin our new life. And if we think for a moment, this does make sense. In Mark's world, the Void Beings and Star both showed up around a similar time. But now, these beings have found their way into the mysterious Sky 4 sector. This is why the developers are so concerned. Star, the Void Beings, and Marcus for that matter should not be here. It appears as though Marcus has been caught up in the plans of Star, no more than a pawn in some much greater game. This may also explain why both Sky 4 sector and Marcus's world have had blocks that are clearly out of place magically show up. The void errors and the reddish taint in the Sky 4 sector mark a stark contrast to the sterility of the rest of the design. Yet, much like Marcus, we still don't have any understanding of what the Sky 4 sector is. It's a totally new place on a totally new version into which we've both been thrown headfirst. There's another video. This one is entitled Recovered Footage. While it is found on Sai's channel, it appears to instead have been recorded by Marcus. The video is very low quality, with several sections of footage missing. In the chat, a player named Spire the Builder 10 rages against a triangle head using quite the colorful language. Marcus exits a house and sees it out in the distance. As it approaches, the video becomes increasingly choppy. Then, in the final frame, we get our first close-up view of a void being. While it looks a little bit different than some of the early anomalies, this is clearly the same being seen alongside Star in the Sky 4 sector. Its name is Integrity, the name given by Sai to the void being on the roof. It's unclear if this name refers to an individual being or a type of being. Now we will return to the Mark 101 channel. The next video is called Revolt, and it's split into two halves. The first half appears to be preparation. We are currently on Minecraft Alpha 1.2.3, which tells us that this video takes place after November 10th, 2010. Marcus equips himself with diamond armor and heads into the mine. He enters one of the left iron doors and approaches the underground structure with the wood and glass. He takes some blocks from a chest and returns to the surface. Marcus constructs a brick staircase into the sky and adds a platform high up. Twice there are strange noises, sounding like mini blocks being placed in rapid succession. With the preparations complete, the video skips to the nighttime. The moon once again has a dark glow with red spots on it. Marcus has invited a group of his friends to attack the moon, a total of 8 additional people. Apparently not knowing what else to do, they fire arrows at the moon, but it doesn't seem to do anything. After all, the moon is a part of the skybox, as a user named Saw13 so graciously points out to the group. About 10 minutes into the video, the moon begins to look different and the players are frenzied, thinking that the moon is coming closer. There are several frames with some type of very close red object. The players are scared now and they tell everyone to run into the house. As they enter, the textures begin to morph into the Sky 4 tile textures. Then the video ends. The plot continues in the following video. A title says that it was really weird because they got saved from the moon. The players suddenly find themselves in a white room and unable to speak. They drop down into a staircase that appears to be in the Sky 4 sector. After walking through a terminal room, they enter the open air. The players are quite confused. They spend a lot of time exploring the area. Marcus does stumble across several interesting things on the surface layer, such as a Steve head surrounded by black and red blocks. The players enter a hallway and find themselves in a bridge room with lots of strange sounds. As they continue, they reach another hall with several adjacent rooms. One of them appears to contain the same reddish obsidian that we saw in Marcus's old world. Marcus discovers another player, this one with a gibberish name and a checkmark for a face. The other players examine it. After a few moments, the gibberish player's head moves, accompanied by a sound. A title from Marcus says that he doesn't believe it is a bot. Back in the bridge room, Marcus discovers another Steve head encased in glass. Then, from the hallway, music. The other players have found a jukebox, and they have a brief little dance party. Marcus looks around the corner and sees that the checkmark man is gone. It appears behind Saw13, and we see it walk quickly with a noise. Throughout this video, there are several titles written by Marcus in editing, with varying levels of cohesion. One says, "Rotten to the core, it is used as a vessel for the impure not from this world." Another says, "The ground beckons" in an increasingly chaotic fashion. Back on Sky 4, a player with a white skin has appeared. The group follows them. We discover that it is Sai. Soon thereafter, we see a death message of Saw13 in the chat. They were too infatuated by gibberish to escape gibberish. Sai ignores the death message. He tells the players not to trust anything that is even similar to Red, and says that he PM'd all the new people with the key to the gate. Sai leads the players back up to the console room, where there's a door leading to a magenta area. But it turns out it's not actually Sai. Instead, we see that the group is now following the checkmark player. Apparently, no one has noticed. One by one, the players enter, but Marcus is hesitant. After all, isn't magenta similar to red? The next video takes a step back and contains an edited montage of shots from the previous videos. It zooms in, highlighting the void beings that have been hidden. Then there's a message. "In the 23rd cycle, the moon will leave its host, and then it will come forth into your world and rightfully take its host. It was pure chance, yet too it was so very lucky. At least for us it was. One more thing, check the website." So let's check the website, and if we do, we will notice that it has changed. At the top is a pointed star. This leads credibility to the idea that Star is the one who created the site. Let's see what's different. "Haven't you heard? It's a pure coincidence it ended up here. Yet a perfect one. A perfect place to spread. Files always being exchanged, servers being joined, a pure place of incubation. The truth, the end is nigh. They won't just be in Minecraft soon. Do you hear it? That wonderful rumbling? In the 23rd cycle of this sector, the moon will leave its host and will exit its one rotation incubation phase. And it will appear in your world. It will rightly gain its new host, as it shall." It appears to be a prediction or a prophecy of some sort. It's our second reference to the moon leaving its host. We've seen quite a bit of strange moon things in Mark's world. Could this be related? Furthermore, Star mentions a sort of rumbling, calling it wonderful. If the rumbling is a good thing for Star, then it's a safe bet that it's not such a good thing for Psy and X. Lo and behold, the next video on Psy's channel is called Rumbling Heard After MB Delta Toppled Over. It's a short little video. In it, we see the destruction of a place called Moonbase Delta, according to the description. And yes, there is a distinct and repetitive rumbling sound. Whatever it is, it's caused massive damage. The video also gives us a potential clue to the nature of Sky 4. The design of Moonbase Delta appears very similar to Sky 4. Is it at all possible that Sky 4 is also on the moon? But there's a much more important matter at hand. If there's a Moonbase Delta, does that mean that there's also a Moonbase Alpha? Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, we found another connection to the moon. The collapse of a moon base may correspond with the odd things that have been happening to the moon in Mark's world. The red dots, the tentacles, we can see similarities to both of these elements in the moon base collapse video. It leads naturally to a tentative intuition. The sudden instability of the moon is somehow connected to the appearance of Star and the Void Beings. In fact, Star has told us on the website that something's going to happen to the moon on the 23rd cycle. But what? For the moment, we shall return to Marcus and his friends. The following video starts with Marcus entering the Magenta Room and is called Talking with Spire ended shortly. Spire and Marcus can now speak, and they have a conversation about the previous events. Marcus mentions that Psy said that the key to all this is admin space. They talk a little bit about the checkmark person. Spire drops into a hole that leads to the central room of Sky 4. The video missing continues directly after this. Marcus drops down the same hole and finds himself once again in Sky 4. Spire is nowhere to be seen. As Marcus explores, he finds some of the books left by X. About 3 minutes into the video, he discovers a hole in the wall with a pit, the same pit where X threw Star's book. Curious, Marcus jumps in. It is extremely dark in here. Marcus uncovers a weird door in the wall and notes that it is very red. There are several chests in the room, although most are empty. One, however, is not. It contains 2 items called Void Keys. It also has check and X items called Assets Tiles Accept and Assets Tiles Deny. Finally, there's a book. When Marcus exits the inventory, there's a message saying that keys have been found in his inventory, which are for admin use only. Marcus drops them momentarily, but decides to keep them in the end. Then Marcus reads the book from the chest. It's called I Had a Fun Day and is written by a character with an upside-down Y for a name. They talk about how they've been in this area for a really long time and they need keys to open the gate. There are people with words on their skin watching from above. Then Y references a void being here, a weirdly shaped head that looks like wires. He wants the keys really, really badly. After reading, Marcus returns the book to the chest and approaches a red interface on the wall. It contains a Mojang logo as well as some spinning fans. Marcus inserts the void key and waits at the door, but nothing happens. Some time has apparently passed before the next video, called Rescue. Marcus, still trapped in the dark room, sees a player appear. She has a white skin with a symbol on her head that matches her username. This is the Unicode symbol for Does Not Force, but we will call her DNF for short. Marcus says that she is the person that the dev sent for him. DNF mentions that she saw the group of Mark's friends. She also says that the place Marcus is in now is not meant for players and is inescapable without help. DNF opens a piston door and Marcus follows her to the surface of Sky 4. She leads him to her secret stash, which holds 3 additional void keys. Marcus takes them. In the next video called Admin Space, Marcus locates his friends and follows them into a large chamber in Sky 4. When the group sees him, they chat for a little bit. Marcus asks for the key, and XX Master Chief Reef 2001 XX gives it to him. The audio glitches when Marcus picks it up, and he suddenly finds himself back in the dark pit. Marcus removes the 2 keys from the slots, giving him a total of 6 in his inventory. The red door is opened, revealing a corridor. Marcus enters with his keys in hand. As he walks, he discovers several data panels on the side. They tell a disturbing story. This is it. The admins have left us for dead. My gut tells me this is how the admins wanted it to end up. How fantastic, we lost a key. Asterisk got disconnected, which means his key is gone. I think I hear it in my house. This was a fun journey. We need 6 keys to open admin space. If only it was 5. Marcus inserts the 6 keys into the interfaces on the wall. Then he approaches the server container and places 5 server drives into the slots. We did not see when he acquired these. The admin space console has been activated. Marcus types several cleansing command variations, but none of them seem to work. It's not clear at all how Marcus understands what commands to type in the console. He even seemed to expect DNF to come and give him a key, something he couldn't have reasonably known. It's a bizarre oddity that doesn't appear to have an explanation right now. The next video is entitled Investigation 5 Moon Shedding. It begins with a credit sequence. It is dedicated to Wynn, with Marcus responsible for recording, the investigation, and the keycards. Jamie plays MC is credited for bringing it to his attention, and Sai was the one who told him that the moon was weird. The title sequence is glitchy and deteriorates as the video continues. There is some weird text, the moon is not needed anymore. Then we see Marcus on Sky 4 with a loud rumbling sound in the background. Marcus walks for a while before another title. The thing is shedding off the moon. There's a large chunk of some sort of material, perhaps it's moon rock as Marcus suggests. The video ends with a title that says, "I'm sorry Wynn, I promise me and your brother will find you." This introduces a new character, Wynn, a character that seems to be missing according to the title, but for now that's about all we know about them. Once again, there are more references to strange things happening on the moon. This time the moon is shedding. It's an evocative statement. Is the moon some sort of living being? Unfortunately, we remain mostly in the dark. But things are going to change quite suddenly with respect to the moon in the next video, called Moonfall. Marcus once again finds himself in Sky 4, but this time everything is bright. Marcus enters the structure, crosses the bridge room, and approaches a vandalized console. There's graffiti on it, an apparent duel between red and green. Green says don't, and Sai was here. Red says join us, do it. It beckons, down with devs. Marcus is apparently convinced by red and decides to open the console, but it's glitchy. He hits the go button, resulting in a noise. Marcus returns back to the exterior to discover that the sky is transformed. It's a beautiful blur of streaky white. The audio crescendos, and suddenly all is black. Marcus drops into a room full of jukeboxes. He runs forward and climbs the stairs. A weird 5 title appears. Then a cut to a cinematic camera. We see that the area has been destroyed, but there's still a bridge that remains intact. The bridge approaches the moon, which has fallen out of the sky and rests on the ground. In the third person, we see Marcus run up towards the moon. It would not be an understatement to say that things have taken quite a turn. Remember, this channel started out as Minecraft alpha footage. Suddenly, there are void entities, powerful admins, and a moon that has fallen out of the sky. What in the world is going on right now? We do find a few clues if we look at the description for Moonfall. It's a recorded conversation between 2 unknown admins. One of them says the following. After the containment sector was vandalized by a group of wandering players, it seems another thing took it as its territory. We learned that that single being somehow tore through the skybox into the skybase sectors, sifted through the admin space database, brought out the most dangerous archive machine that outmatches the main admin space terminal, and put it inside of the containment sector for the void beings to ascend. After that, it seemed as if everything was clear as day. However, there were signs of 2 void beings, 1 dev and 1 player near the site of the machine. The player was curious. They pushed the corrupted button of the machine, and then the skybox erupted into a mess of gargantuan flowing strips. The moon fell, dropping from its infinite size to only 2 million blocks cubed. The entire skybase was shattered into an endless sea of broken data points. So let's take a step back here. The containment sector apparently refers to Sky 4, and the vandalizing wandering players are Marcus and his friends exploring the area. It appears as though these actions have somehow opened the door for the thing to enter the skybase sector. This thing brought out a dangerous machine and put it into the containment sector. When Marcus pushes the button on the broken console, it breaks the skybox and causes the moon to fall. Even so, we still don't know what the thing is, but we may be able to use some context clues to make a solid guess. Think back to the first containment breach. X, the devs, and Sai were attempting to piece together what happened when Star entered the containment sector. As Star has a history of breaching containment, it seems likely that Star is the thing being referenced. Yet there are more details here. The admins talk about Star sifting through admin space and bringing out a dangerous archived machine. We don't yet know the finer details of admin space, but we do know that it's apparently a powerful terminal, one that requires special keys to enter. We also know that several players have attempted to get into admin space but failed, as they didn't have enough keys. But Marcus has acquired the keys by finding several in the Dark Pit, as well as gifts from DNF and Master Chief. Despite this, when Marcus opened the terminal, his commands did not appear to do anything. Later, back at the skybase, Marcus stumbles across a bizarre machine in the wall, and he pushes the button. This is apparently what breaks the skybox and causes the moon to fall. Right now, though, the broader implications of this are not clear. We need to continue on to the next video, entitled Back to Admin Space. This video opens with 2 title cards. The void is destroyed, trust us. Jump into the void, you won't be damaged. Jump, jump, jump. Then we see Marcus approaching the moon. It is solid and he is able to enter it, leading to shimmery hallways. He climbs the stairs and finds it, another much larger admin space door. The description has a link to an unlisted video called Trust Red. Before we watch it, let's take a look at the description, which outlines another conversation between 2 admins. I had placed a fake admin space in the disposal sector of X's old plot. Right, real admin space was hard-coded to always transport itself to the most safe place it could be, the shedded moon being one now. From this, we immediately learned that the dark pit is called the disposal sector. We also learned that the admin space there was fake. That's why Marcus was unable to run any commands. Let's go ahead and watch this video. Marcus runs a command, database.void.masscleanse, and this time it seems to work. He spawns into a new world with the text admin space active. The world is almost totally white, in stark contrast to Marcus's pitch black skin. Yet, once Marcus makes his way to the surface, we see that the terrain appears to be normally generated, with hills, plains, and lakes. There is even the occasional mushroom patch, adding a splash of color to the world. Marcus walks for several minutes before reaching the top of a hill where he pauses. The music stops as Marcus selects the accept tile in his inventory. Suddenly, from the sky falls a set of pedestals with the admin space style and color scheme. Then, in the chat, do it. Marcus inserts his keys into the bases of the pedestals. After a few moments, the sky turns black. Then, fog approaches, and the video ends. The video description links to another video, and this one's from a 3rd channel, that of Jamie Plays MC. This is one of Mark's friends from earlier. There are 5 videos on this channel, each linking to the next. They give us more information about what happened to the other group of players after the moonfall. In day 1, Jamie, Spire, and Gracious talk about the moonfall from their perspective. Several people from the group have died or disconnected. 2008 score was crushed, and Master Chief's text became gibberish. At the end, Jamie points out a piece of wreckage where they will stay. In the Day 2 video, we see that the group has constructed a small base using things they found out in the wasteland. It appears as though they take turns walking and searching for equipment. In Day 3, we learn that Gracious has been missing. Jamie thinks he's with Saw, implying that he has died. Jamie says that when it's their turn to search, they too will perish. On Day 4, there is no one left but Jamie. They open a book and type out a letter to Marcus. To Marcus, I will kill you. Why, you may ask? You. Why, you are a You click random and destroy everything. You hate your friends because you are a narcissistic who only cares about ruining everything. I will kill you unless on one condition. You are the reason this place is destroyed. You are the reason 7 people are missing, maybe even 8 soon enough. Save Win with me, please. Otherwise you will face your actions and you will be the 10th missing person, including Win. Jamie goes to a chest and pulls out a sword. On the final day, we see him pursuing Mark, apparently out to kill him. But Marcus survives. In the next video on his channel, we see him in Jamie's base, with Jamie nowhere to be seen. There is a tower, and Marcus climbs it. In the following video, Marcus reaches the top of the tower, and he discovers somebody we have not seen in a while, Star. They say that they have been waiting for Marcus, and that they are currently outside of the sky, in a place where blocks are hard-coded. Star says that this is a place where there are no more of my people, but then quickly backtracks and says their enemy, the Triangles. This mistake appears to confirm our growing suspicion that Star is responsible for the Void entities. Marcus, however, does not care about Star's rambling. He begins to walk away. Star asks for him to come back, threatening to say his full name and address. Marcus taunts Star, telling him to do it. Then Star loses it, glitching out the world and making increasingly violent threats to Marcus. This gets his attention, and he begins to walk back towards the tower. Marcus approaches an admin space terminal. Star claims that it doesn't work and tells him not to touch it. Then he rages again. Marcus says that he's oh so scared of Star's noodle friends. Star continues his threats. Marcus says that if the next command doesn't work, he'll kill Jamie before Star does, implying that, somehow, Jamie is alive. Then Marcus opens up the terminal and begins typing a command. Star's tone suddenly shifts from combative to desperate. Star begs Marcus to stop and promises him riches beyond his dreams, but Marcus doesn't care. He types code.ai.sentience.void_trojan state remove and presses enter. On the screen we see warning, critical code ejected. Marcus looks around. Star is gone. We hear a weird noise, and then suddenly there's a real-life shot of the moon. The next video is called A New Body. Marcus exits the admin space terminal and enters a hallway. We now reach the final video, which is appropriately named Finality. Marcus finds himself once again in the white world of admin space. A voice begins talking to them.
Well done, Marcus. You are in the place where thoughts are real. I saved your consciousness and set it in the hollow shell of this body. I've archived it. Only listen, no talking, okay? Marcus, I need to tell you something. I'm the ultimate truth. You are not real, you are a mere fabrication in which you have no free will. Your mind is a myriad clump of algorithms trying to figure out what is going on. But I'm generous. I'll give you a gift. I'll give you a chance to realize you are meat. You will be flesh. You will no longer be a script, but a brain. The things beyond the skybox yield interesting things, to say the least. Not interesting for me. There are more like you, Marcus. Think of something, Marcus. A story of a strange figure on someone's beta Minecraft world. Stories and their things. Each with their respective authors and fabricated consciousness. I'm not the author, I'm a author. I'm sorry, Marcus. As you are speaking, this universe is being deleted due to its obsolescence. It's not like a fabricated mind like you would realize. Go forth and wreak havoc. Marcus.
Alright, yeah, things have changed once again. It's going to take us some time to untangle what we've just witnessed. Let's see if I can break this down as much as possible. One of the major changes in the last several videos is the introduction of the author as a character. This is the literal author, the creator of the ARG. In the description of the final video, the author elaborates on this. All a fabrication, used to incubate agents of consciousness and paranormal activities. In this fabricated universe, all years between 2010 and 2021 have been eradicated. The participants were hard-coded not to think they were from 2022, to keep their illusionary lie chamber running. In other words, the author is telling us that the characters we have been following this entire time are not real and are instead made up by the author. This seems somewhat obvious, but there's an additional critical distinction. Several of the characters in-game are aware that they are fictional. Let's return to the description of Trust Red. There's a second conversation between the two admins recorded there. They talk about how admin space is Minecraft, the manifestation of all the code put into a machine. If admin space's archives are cleansed, then everything will become uniform, and that their metaphysical existences will end. Then they say they know who created them as Mark's little friends, referring of course to the author. The admins are afraid of their destruction. They hope to convince the author to delay their physical departure from existence. But of course, it did not work. The final 4 videos on the Mark 101 channel were released on October 23, 2022. This was the prophecy that Star foretold. The end of the ARG and the destruction of their fictional world. This brings us to admin space, an area that appears to be connected. There are a few characters that are very aware that admin space holds some type of existential power. In What Happened After the Attacks on the Moon, Sai tells the players not to trust anything that is even similar to Red. The most prominent Red objects we've seen all somehow relate to admin space, be it a door, a pedestal, or a terminal. Sai recognizes its power and attempts to ensure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Yet, Sai needs admin space. Once Star and the Void Beings enter the containment sector, Sai tells DNF to give Marcus a key, which she does. This is so that Marcus can open the door in the containment sector and use admin space. While the exact purpose is unclear, my guess is that Sai wants Marcus to clear out the Void Beings, which is what he thinks is happening when he attempts to run the cleanse command. But what Marcus and Sai don't realize is that the containment sector's admin space terminal is fake. As described in the first Trust Red conversation, the real admin space terminal is hard-coded to always transport itself to the most safe place it could be. The safest place is the Shedded Moon, which is where Marcus finds the real admin space door. It is there that Marcus is given 4 Void Keys, which he puts into the pedestals. This seems to transport him back to the wasteland, where he climbs the tower and ends up outside the skybox. It is there that he meets Star. The description of Imminent tells us more about this character. Apparently, it is the first thing to lay eyes on the truth of why it exists. It was an experimental AI for the experimental RPG game mode of Minecraft, but as soon as it saw the truth, it was given sentience and life. Now it is the ultimate truth. It became more powerful than even admin space. But because it's only intangible since it's outside the skybox, it guards the terminal up there, knowing it's the only thing that could kill it. Star is also aware that it is fictional. This appears to be what the ultimate truth refers to. In Finality, the author says that they are the ultimate truth. Star is another one of the author's mere fabrications. This has been foreshadowed several times. There were shadowy titles that reference the skybox as a shield and say that the shield could be broken. There's also the title of the video, Outside of the Skybox Lies the Ultimate Truth. In some strange way, the skybox served as the barrier between the world and the knowledge of the truth. Star is the first to realize this truth and become aware that it exists as a character. This is why Star has done everything possible to escape and spread, first by teleporting into Marcus's world, breaking into the sky sector, and then by attempting to get Marcus to shatter the skybox, thus opening the door to the ultimate truth. The Void Beings are Star's people. Yet, even Star is no match for the admin space console, and Marcus removes Star by eliminating the Trojan code. Marcus is the final character to learn that he is fictional. This occurs during the dialogue in Finality, where the author puts Mark's consciousness into Star's old body. In doing so, Marcus has been archived. Finally, the author deletes the world, deleting the universe they have created. The description of Finality elaborates on the nature of authorship. The author says that they are afraid Marcus is now going to be the reason someone will find a paranormal entity in their Minecraft game, and they will become an author too. It spreads like wildfire when attention is brought to it, like an infection. This is referring to the idea that this ARG will inspire others to create similar ARGs. Just as the fictional Marcus discovered paranormal entities, so too will other future Marcuses. And when that happens, there will be new authors creating new content, and the infection will spread. There are some other things worth mentioning here. During the early investigations, Marcus says in his videos that he has a difficult time leaving Minecraft. It keeps sending him back to the window. The description of the beginning has a line that appears to be referring to the Void Beings. It says that they take up a lot of space in the game, all of the memory focuses on Minecraft, and it blocks almost all other applications. This explains Mark's difficulties. Now, I want to be clear here. I am not totally confident that this is the correct interpretation. Rather, it's the best that I have personally been able to produce. The project is huge, with over 2 hours of footage across 3 channels. In fact, it's not even complete. The description in Finality concludes by saying that this is the end of Act 1. The next act, called Win, is already underway on a different channel, linked in the description. So it's possible that there will be new evidence in the future that either confirms or denies my interpretations. Before we conclude, I want to talk a little bit about some of the parts of the story that I do not understand. For example, what's the deal with the original website and the REIJ codes? While we were able to decode them, we were unable to ascribe any meaning to the plain text words. Another topic which has been bothering me are the symbols on the admin space door and pedestals. We can see that there are clearly 4 symbols: a psi, a star, a check mark, and an X. Each of these appears to correspond to a character within the game. The 4 characters are, in some cases, opposed. While Psi and X work together and have the same white skins, Star is against them. Of the group, the checkmark player is the most mysterious. Their purpose is far from obvious to me. Yet here they are, all connected to one another on the door to the legendary admin space. I have yet to figure out the reason. And what about the accept and deny tiles? The check and X we see in several inventories surely has to be connected, right? But how? I've also wondered about the Steve heads that we see in the Skyforce sector. They're prominently displayed in several locations, but they are never given an explanation. Another oddity is the disposal sector. We know that several people were trapped here, most notably Y. In the description of the beginning, we learn that Y is face depository. Is depository related to the disposal sector? There are also a few examples where players appear to be looking at something that we cannot see. This occurs in the first video, but also in Third World and Demo 01. It really does seem to me like they're following something, but I just can't tell what. Hopping back to the early videos, what's the purpose of the strange house embedded in the cave system? Did Marcus build it? And why does the chest have such a seemingly deliberate configuration of items within it? Furthermore, why does Marcus occasionally get teleported to glitchy versions of his world? A more structural question is this: where is Investigation Part 3? We see parts 1, 2, 4, and 5. did Marcus make a mistake, or are we missing a piece of critical footage? Similarly, there's an unused 0, unused 1, and unused 3. What happened to unused 2? We will close with a final conversation, one which I have yet to mention here. The description of Rumbling Herd seems to say that if things fall apart, there will be a discussion at a pier in real life. In the description of the beginning, it appears as though this may be that discussion. It's from a spy cam, and it's a conversation between a character called Admin Aleph, Psy, and another admin with a cuneiform sign GI4 crossing GI4 Unicode character. The conversation mentions that the worst has happened, and they are meeting by the pier. Their topics of discussion are difficult to understand within the context of the rest of the videos. Aleph mentions that Mojang is going to disband into 3 companies and then reform when needed. Then, a censored person appears, one who is apparently from Mojang. GI4 talks about how the beginning point has entered its first stage. There is also a discussion about the inhumane nature of harnessing the sentient of the redacted people, as well as breaking into people's homes and making them go missing. I encourage you to read it. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find a great interpretation. In fact, you should go and watch all the videos yourself. This is a massive ARG. During our time together, I did my best to give you an introduction, but there's no way I could possibly dive into the details of everything. I highly encourage you to join the official RGN Discord server. Over the past several weeks, this has been the primary location where I've discussed Mark 101. Many of the Discord members were instrumental in the production of this video. So if you're interested, come on over and join the chat. This project is very much ongoing, and we will take all the help we can get. In order to facilitate discussion of this project, I have once again created Google Slides that contain all of the research I did. These include characters, locations, and videos, and there are hyperlinks for easier navigation. These slides will give you information about the project in a much higher degree of detail than my video. The slideshow will be open to comments, so if you have anything to contribute, you can put it there. I will do my best to keep it updated. If you're interested, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. When I started, I didn't know what to expect, but Mark 101 did not disappoint. It brought us from bizarre Minecraft anomalies all the way up to a fourth wall-breaking statement on the nature of ARGs. I hope that I was able to give you at least a small taste of the intrigue and mystery found within these channels. I'm very excited to see where this project goes, and I hope you'll join me for the ride on the Discord. What did you think? Did you like Mark 101? Did I miss anything, or was my analysis flawed? I would love to hear from you. Write a comment and tell me what you thought. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, subscribing would really help me out. We will go ahead and end with that. This has been RGN. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day.